Good morning and welcome to Holy Week. This is Wednesday of what we call Holy Week, which is the week before Easter. And this week we are reflecting on two everyday objects as part of our Lenten devotion series. Usually we just do one, but today we're going to do two. And one of them is what I'm wearing, my coat. We're going to reflect on coats. The other one is towels. You can actually see I brought a towel into work today and then I spilled my coffee. So it used to be a clean towel, but now it is no longer clean. These two objects, coats and towels, feature in the scriptural story that leads up to Easter in Jesus's last days. Coats are used by people as Jesus enters Jerusalem. He rides on a donkey and people put their coats on the ground in front of him. It really is a symbol of honoring Jesus, honoring that he is someone to be respected. It has some implications that he's coming in like a king. And we might think of in our day, like the red carpet at the Oscars that is rolled out for people who are celebrities and famous. Jesus doesn't get a red carpet. He gets the cloaks of the people who are standing alongside the road watching him come in, and they are laying their coats in front of that donkey so that as Jesus walks, or as the colt carrying Jesus walks, dust and dirt aren't stirred up onto Jesus. It's just this sign of honor and respect. And if you can imagine what it would feel like to be standing there wearing your cloak, most people only probably had one. It would have been, a precious object taken off and laid on the road in front of Jesus as that sign of respect. Towels actually kind of flip the narrative a little bit. Jesus uses towels to wash the feet of his disciples and to dry them. And so towels are a symbol of how Jesus serves his disciples and serves us, and then calls us to do the same. And so rather than towels being a sign of honor and respect for Jesus, they're a sign of the fact that he came as a servant leader and calls us to be the same in the world. These two objects actually, especially in combination, towels and coats, call to mind for me our houseless neighbors. Coats are so essential if you are living without shelter to actually staying alive. They're necessary in the winter months for our houseless neighbors to be able to stay warm, dry, and really sometimes alive. Along with other people from Steamboat Island Church, I do volunteer work with Community Lifeline, which is a shelter in the Shelton community. And one of the things I'm often aware of in the winter months is making sure that the residents have access to coats. Now, those people have shelter if they want it in the evenings and at night, but we still spend a lot of time outside, and other people can come in and certainly access the resources of that shelter and get things like coats. Jesus talks about coats, but besides just having them laid before him as he enters Jerusalem, in the Gospel of Matthew, he says, if somebody asks for your coat, take off your coat and give it to them, and actually give them your cloak as well. So go the extra mile to give them what they are asking for. In other Gospels, in the Gospel of Luke, John the Baptist, as he's preparing for Jesus to come, he says, if you have two coats, give one to your neighbor. Don't keep two coats. I think about that sometimes when I look in my coat closet. I have more than one coat. I find in the Pacific Northwest, right, we need different coats for different seasons. I have my big winter coat. I have this coat, which is kind of my fall and spring coat. Although today with the snow coming down, I probably could have worn my big winter coat. I have a thin raincoat that I wear in the summer when it rains. So I have coats for different seasons. But I think that the instructions from Jesus and from John the Baptist, my work at Community Lifeline, reminds me that that's a privilege, and that part of my call as a follower of Jesus, part of the way I can lay my coat down in front of Jesus, isn't to actually do that. He's not processing in anymore the way he did in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. But part of the way I can lay my coat down in front of Jesus is to be aware of people in my community, of my neighbors who might need a coat, and to make sure that I'm a part of helping those people not only get coats, but advocating for justice for our houseless neighbors. And so towels remind me also of caring for our houseless neighbors. One of the churches I served, actually in the Shelton community, there was a ministry there where people would volunteer to wash towels from the shelter. The shelter has shower facilities that are open not just to the residents, but pre-COVID were open to anyone who needed to come in and take a shower. And the shelter provided towels for the people who came in and used the showers, and those towels needed to be washed. And there were people in the church who would go once or twice a week and gather giant garbage bags, like the black garbage bags just filled with towels. And they would be heavy because the towels were wet, and they would be, dirty and needing washed. And many of the people would go to the laundromat instead of taking them home, because at the laundromat, you could use multiple washers and dryers at the same time so that the loads could get done quickly. And they would take them in there, and then they would wash them, dry them, fold them, and return them to the shelter. It was such an unseen ministry. There was no glory in it. They didn't see the people who would use the towels. They weren't receiving thanks from the people who were using the towels. They weren't doing it for that reason. It was a heavy, labor-intensive, kind of dirty ministry. It was often done, solitarily. You're not with a group of people getting to chat and have fun while you're doing it. It was simply a labor of love and service. And that's really what Jesus calls us to. Sometimes when we serve other people, there are blessings for us immediately in it. I actually love serving meals at the shelter because I'm with a group of people and we have fun in the kitchen and we talk, and it's a time of being social with each other. And so it's a blessing for me, in addition to being able to offer food into the community to people who might need it. But washing the towels didn't have any of those elements. It was simply a gift of love done for no other reason but to provide a clean towel and the dignity that comes with a shower to people who might need it. And Holy Week reminds me that Jesus didn't come for glory. He didn't come to be thanked. He didn't come so that people would lay coats down before him as he rode into Jerusalem. He came to serve and to love and to invite his followers to do the same. And so this Holy Week, as you wear your coat, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, I can almost guarantee you're going to be putting a coat on this week. Even though it's April, our weather is acting more like it's February. That you think of who in your community might be in need of a coat and what it means to advocate not just for them to have a coat, but for true justice around housing. And as you touch towels this week, whether it's the towel you use when you get out of the shower or your hand towel in the bathroom or the towel that you use when you're doing dishes, to think about what it means to love and serve without need for recognition or thanks or glory. And what it means that Jesus served us in that way, what it means to receive that gift yet again this Holy Week of a servant Lord, a servant leader who gave beyond measure, who asked for nothing in return except our love and our service to others. What does it mean to have that gift? And what does it mean to pass that gift on to others in the world? For you, it might look different than washing towels at a community shelter. You might be called to a different kind of service, but I invite you to sit with that question this week, every time you touch or see a towel, to both remember what Jesus has done for us and also to ask, what are you called to do? May this Holy Week be a blessing to you. May it be a time of receiving grace. May it be a time of sharing grace. And most of all, may it be a time of just sitting in prayer and reflection for who Jesus was and what Jesus has done for us, and asking the question how we continue to extend that love into the world. Blessings be upon you. Amen.